All right, we're going to get this filmed a little quicker than I tried the last time. I tried to video this already and it didn't feel right, uh, which it is what it is. So let me tell you about the time I got to have a coaching session with Garrian Jones. Who Garrian Jones is, for those of you who don't know, he is a incredible, I think, like one of the world's best life coaches who teaches spirituality from a fundamental view of the way that Jesus saw things, not not necessarily the way that Christianity is structured, but the way that spirituality can be unpacked and viewed, um, the way that I think Jesus would have taught in the day that he was walking around. So, on May 27th, 2024, um, I saw that Garrian was doing some coaching sessions for free on Instagram. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to find out if I can manifest this and allow reality to fold into my life in a way where I am one of the people who gets to receive a free coaching session with Garrian. I had that same knowing feeling come to me that I had in my video I talk about with the extrasensory perception possibility that I had in Maui in 2012, unlocking a code with the digits that seemed to fall into my mind, right? I'm starting to think that and further understand that there's this knowing. You know that something happens, will happen as it happens. So May 27th, 2024, I'm watching Garrian do his live coaching session. He ends one with the previous client, and then I'm imagining myself in my mind's eye. I'm imagining his video happening at the top and then my video popping up at the bottom. And I did what I know I can to feel that happening, to understand that it is happening, right? However, the mechanics of that work. And then what I see happen is Garrian mutters something like two people didn't work, or like there's a glitch or something. And then the next thing I know, I am having an invite pop up on my screen. And the amount of like energy and feeling that I had flood my body was surreal. It's similar to when you're at a concert waiting for the performer to come out on stage and you know that they're about to come out, right? And it's obvious what is occurring, but the moment that they truly appear and they're in front of you and they make eye contact with you, that's when you go, this is it. And what I want to say real quick are the things that really became almost prophetic for my life in that session with Garrian. Once my nerves settled, then we had a bit of discussion. I can't even remember what I had prefaced with in the beginning of our conversation. I just said something along the lines of, "Man, your the energy that you exude is powerful. Wow. I'm really grateful for this opportunity." Now, I remember that Garrian said this pivotal piece of information. He said, "You want to remember that the larger a vessel is in the ocean, if you need to change the direction of the vessel, you will need to stop the direction that it is going in. You need to change it. If it's a small boat, it won't be too difficult. But if that's a large freighter, it's a different amount of energy that it's going to take." That became very pivotal information, because looking back on the timeline since that, it's almost a year, basically a week from that date. now I'm sober on everything. I've been to jail. um, I'm now telling my story the way that I continued thinking that I should and want to. More than anything, I am now the most authentic version that I can be, online and in person, with the professionals that I'm working with the whole sphere of life that I am now experiencing is different from a year ago. And it was just like that, like having a giant freighter in the ocean and needing to bring it to a halt and change its direction. There's a saying that comes to mind, I've seen on Instagram. If you are on the wrong train, the longer you stay on the wrong train, the longer it's going to be to get back. Yeah. Now, another thing that Garrian Jones said was concerning trauma. He says to being able to handle trauma, what you want to do is treat the trauma like the little kid on the playground that nobody is playing with, that everybody's ignoring. Very important. Because every single one of us, what do we have? A childhood. We've got our inner child. We've got the emotions within us that cause our actions right now in our current reality, with the way that we treat the world, with the way that in person or on camera or in our workplace that we communicate. It's very valuable to be able to think, almost like imagine the world as a playground and everybody's got their little kid with them. How would you be able to treat that person as though, and make sure that they know they're welcome, they're valued? For myself, I needed to learn that even with my parents. That was the reason that I had asked Garrain how to treat trauma triggers, particularly with parents, because it felt and seemed to me like I would get agitated with the same conversation or the same emotional frequency that we would experience in conversation with my parents, until I realized, right, they've got their kid inside as well. We're just a bunch of adult bodies with kids inside that are wanting to experience life to the fullest. It was pivotal information. I'm grateful for that. Now the question with this coaching session that I got is, was it a manifestation? I do see it as having been a result of my belief. What it also became was a building block for my health once I started realizing I need to change things. When I look at Garrian, he's the image of someone who is being hit the hardest, and he has come out the other side stronger, better, faster, wiser. And that's what I hope that you and myself, that we can be inspired by and that we can become. Because it's in every single one of you, in every single person, the capability to live your truest, highest self. Just like Garrian now demonstrates in his brand and in everything that he does, his authenticity. That's the goal. Make it your goal. What I'm really grateful for is that through his intuition, which Garrian follows. Why? Why would you follow the gut feeling? Because if you read Garrian's story, things change in life. When his frequency changed, when his perception of everything in reality shifted, and he decided, despite the external factors, despite the fact that I'm in jail because I was caught with drugs, I'm still going to live in a way that I enjoy. You got to read the story. I mean, Garrian is a beast in an incredible way. I mean, that story with him being in jail, as it turns, his sentence, which was for years and years, got altered because the drugs that he was charged for, they got retested, and like 90% of them were fake. So Garrian's book, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life, assisted in me being able to change my mindset. And I hope that by me being able to communicate a little bit of my interaction with this leader of truth, that it can become of value to you. I strongly encourage you to check out his book, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life. And to check out the podcast that he does on Simplify with Scott Hilsey. Tells his entire story. I was talking with my OT earlier today on our walk, occupational therapist. And I mentioned that we want to make our mess our message. That's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm grateful that I have the ability to do. The power within. Ultimately, with thoughts being able to shape our reality. I think instead of hoping and wishing and changing that things will form around us, when you begin to truly take action and say, I'm going to do the best that I can for my health, for my wealth, for my love, for my happiness. I'm not going to do it all today. I'm going to look at the minimum viable product that I can offer in life with what I have right now. Like if you're familiar with Bible studies, yeah. There's the story of Moses leading 5 million Israelite people out of prison in Egypt, out of slavery. And they come to a wall. Not technically a wall, but the Red Sea. And instead of looking everywhere else, the place that God places Moses's attention is at what he has in his hand, which was a staff, right? You've got to look at what is in your hand, what you have now. Take stock of your life. And just like bringing a large freighter, a large ship in the ocean to a stop, it will take all of your energy, because ultimately you're shifting and transmuting and changing your energy. You're shifting everything in order to reach the next level. That's your breaking point. Metamorphosis. So with that, I hope I do a small amount of justice to being able to bring your attention to Garrian. It's a person I highly value. And I highly encourage you to check out. Was my meeting a manifestation? It's up to you to decide. I'm very grateful that God has put that beautiful person on this earth as a teacher for me and now for you. That's the video for today. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for being here. This is Epicworld. Peace out.